Alright, you guys, it's me again, Jenners. I don't know why I just referred to myself as Jenners, but whatever. It's me, Jenna, you know who I am. So, you know what? I'm talking about a sequel today. I know I've talked about the first movie in this franchise a couple months ago. I know it was one of, like, the first videos I did. But today I shall be talking about Sleepaway Camp 2. So yeah, this is the Blu-ray. Obviously, you can tell it's the Blu-ray cover here, and then the original cover artwork right here on the DVD cover here. So, like, I have to say, like I know I've kind of said in the past, like, I really didn't get into this franchise. I didn't watch any of these movies up until maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. But definitely, I've I've grown very fond of this franchise. Not the best movies I know, but I definitely enjoy them. I love this franchise. It definitely, I can't say it enough. I have a little special a place in my heart for the Sleepaway Camp series. So, and I gotta say though, like, speaking of these covers, and actually I do have the third one as well here for the DVD. So those were like the original covers. And I gotta say, I remember, like, when I was a kid, when there were still, like, video stores around, like, every corner, like, these covers, I remember, like, it's so weird, because, like, every time I see these covers, I always have flashes of being a kid and going to, like, my little mom and pop video stores and, like, seeing these covers. So I always kind of, like, it always brings me back to my childhood a little bit. Even though I didn't check these movies out as a kid, I checked these out as an adult. They still, bring back those memories of going to the video store and, grabbing up some horror movies and stuff. So it just kind of, gives me that little, like, nostalgic feeling for me, which I love. I miss video stores. I know there's a couple here and there. Like I said, I know, like a town over, very close by, there's like a family video or something, but it's just not the same. And I know that video store's been there forever. Hopefully that never ever closes. Video stores. But yeah, so let me discuss about Sleepaway Camp 2 here. So this movie, this second one, came out in 1988. So this was 5 years after the first one. First one was released in 1983. Now this was filmed in 87, came out in 88, and this was filmed back to back with the third installment, which third one came out in 89, which I will do a separate video on number 3. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp 2, when I initially first saw the second one, the uncampy, because it's very campy, Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, I'll be honest, I did not like number 2 and number 3. I hated them. I just couldn't stand them. Especially, I think a lot of it had to do with the recasting of Angela. Felissa Rose, I know, wanted to do the movie, but I know a pretty big conflict was that she was preparing to, like, go to school, or she was in school, going to college, I should say, and, just with the scheduling of the movie and going to college and stuff, I guess it just kind of was too much of a conflict for her schedule, so she had to drop out, thus giving us, for 2 movies, Pamela Springsteen to play the role of Angela. And nice little side note about Pamela Springsteen is that she's actually the sister of Bruce Springsteen. So awesome, fun little fact. Every time I watch this movie, or even like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, because I know she's got a very small role in Fast Times as one of the cheerleaders in like in the gymnasium or whatever. Um, it just every time I see her, I just always think of Bruce Springsteen. I love that. And another little side note about another one of the characters, Renee Estevez, who's in the second movie. She's kind of like the nice girl in the movie. She is the sister of Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, which another cool little tidbit, my opinion. I love it. Um, but yeah, like I said, when I first watched these, I couldn't stand them. I hated them. I was not a fan of them. But then, like, a few months had passed, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rewatch these, give them another chance. And after I watched them again, I was like, they're actually not that bad. I definitely like the humor. I feel like the humor, especially with the casting of Pam Springsteen as Angela, like, she really does bring something to the character. She definitely, I think initially why I didn't like it was her portrayal of Angela because, in parts 2 and 3, she plays Angela like totally different from the first one as very different from how Felissa Rose had portrayed Angela, especially too, I mean, when we first meet Angela in the first one, she's very shy and everything. We don't know anything about her. And, the second one, she literally, has come out of her shell, is very just upbeat, very, like, almost like, I think most people who kind of know someone with a very similar personality to Angela in this movie, you're like, like, shut up, you're too much, you're way too peppy. But, she makes it work. She makes it work. So, but yeah, like I said, this movie takes place, it was made like 5 years later, technically 4, because it was, like I said, made in 87, released in 88. But yeah, so like 5 years have passed, and we know at the beginning of the film, they kind of, give us the, run of the mill, like, oh, we need to like fill in the gap here, like too much time has gone by, we need to fill in a quick little backstory without having to like film anything. So they go over of like, what happened to Angela after the murders of the first one. She was like arrested, she was put into a mental institution, and then she was also like went under the knife, not by her, but the choice was made for her to pretty much be transformed into a full-fledged woman. Because keep in mind, like the first one, she was being dressed up. She was a boy in the first one, being dressed up as a girl by her crazy Aunt Martha. Why you gotta be so fucked up, Aunt Martha? But yeah, she was being dressed up in the first one, not by her choice, and then once she was put away, locked up, getting helped, once again, a choice was made for her, a choice that was not her own, to then become a woman. So I feel like, at least for me, a little bit for this movie, like, I mean, first off, like, obviously she's messed up in the head, she's still got issues and stuff, hence why she continues to kill, but I feel like now some of the motivation is the fact that, maybe because she didn't have the say, like she had these adults, who, or even maybe, because we're not sure if it was like the doctors who made this decision, or maybe Aunt Martha made the decision since she was still technically her guardian, of like, well, you know what, let's just make her a girl. So maybe because she didn't have any sort of say, it was against her will, at least I'm assuming it was against her will, to become a woman. So now she's back at camp, and it's kind of like, okay, all these kids get to do whatever they want. I didn't get to have any of these choices growing up. You know, some of these major choices were made for me, and I had no say in them. I'm gonna go kill these kids. I mean, that, you know, once again, it's a cheesy little horror movie like this, you know, I feel like has a lot to say about, you know, certain social things in real life. So something, I think that's why I like the series a lot. So, um, but yeah, like the second one, like I said, it's got like, you know, a lot of like humor and stuff in it. You know, pretty similar to say like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, or even like Return of the Living Dead a little bit. It's got some of that like humor and everything, and I still feel like it's. I mean, to me, it's not necessarily scary, but once again, I've been watching horror movies since I was like in diapers, literally almost pretty much still in diapers. So, but I feel like it is a pretty good, you know, jump scare movie. And you know, I gotta say, I know I kind of already mentioned this, but I do like Pamela Voorhees. Pamela Voorhees. I knew I was gonna do that. Pamela Springsteen. Pamela Springsteen's a real person. Pam Voorhees is not. Um, Pamela Springsteen, like I said, it's, you know, I love her portrayal. I definitely do. I mean, you know, you guys know like Felissa Rose, like her portrayal both in number one in Return to Sleepaway Camp. I love her performances. I mean, to me, she is Angela Baker, Little Angel of Death. But, you know, for a replacement or a recasting, she does do a good job. Pam Springsteen does do a good job, in my opinion. Um, this too also has a couple of like great lines. I know the first one I mentioned that they had, you know, some really great lines. You know, this one's got some good ones too. Hey, party hits! 4 o'clock! Referring to the girl who jumped in the pool without a top on, just a white shirt. Could see her party hats. For those of you who can't put two and two together. But just, yeah, it's a fun one. And this was, like I said, this was filmed back to back with part 3. And these movies were filmed in Waco, Georgia, at like a YMCA camp. It was like, I think something where like the camp had closed or it was off season or something. But yeah, like there was a lot of like work they had to kind of like put into this. Like I know like the swimming pool, it just like you could tell it was so freaking dirty, and that was after they put like all this like chlorine and everything, doing what they can to like kill the algae, and it was still like fucking disgusting. But you know what, the actors had fun with it. They jumped right into it. But yeah, so this movie just, and you know, like, I mean, obviously I have like, you know, both Blu-ray and DVD. I know the DVD has some special features. It's got like audio commentary with the director and writer, and it also has a couple of like behind the scenes stuff. But the Blu-ray, which actually came out a year or so ago, it has a little like documentary, a little 2-part documentary. First part's on here talking about the Sleepaway Camp 2. It's a pretty brief documentary. Like I think it's like 20 to 30 minutes long. So I mean, it's not like short, but like compared to like the Return of the Living Dead one that I just got, it's pretty quick. But you know what? It's a good one to watch. But yeah, it also has like audio commentary and everything, and I actually believe it is the same audio commentary as the DVD. So with director, oh my god, Michael Simpson, and writer Fritz Gordon. But yeah, it's still, you know, it's still a good one. Still a good one. But yeah, so that's my little spiel about Sleepaway Camp 2. Love this movie. Like I said, I couldn't stand the sequels at first when I first saw them, but I adore them now. So, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up, and then I will see you guys back in a little bit talking about Sleepaway Camp 3. I will catch you guys on the flip side.